owns it. But if you want to fight about it, lawyer up, big boy, let's go.
Why don't you let me sell this thing?
I want success. Get it for me.
Grow them, grow them, grow them, grow them.
In this business,
You have to know the rules of the game before you can bend them. And if you don't,
you lose all of it.
Sold them, sold them, sold them, sold them, acorns wide and free.
Hey, where are you?
At Drill Well 7. Dad, I'm planning.
Everything we thought we understood about Tommy Norris was challenged in the final moments of Landman Season 2. And the Season 3 trailer quietly confirms that his most dangerous chapter hasn't gone the way many of us expected, and that was exactly the point. Instead of gunfire, betrayals, or sudden deaths, it left us with something far more unsettling: choice. By the time the dust settled, Tommy wasn't running anymore. He wasn't begging for his job back, and he wasn't clinging to stability just because it was familiar. He was standing at the edge of something new, knowing full well it could destroy him. And that's what makes the Season 3 trailer hit so hard, because it reframes that quiet finale as the beginning of a storm. Tommy losing MTEX wasn't just about power or pride, it was about identity. For years, he survived by building other people's empires, telling himself that control was enough, that proximity to power counted as ownership. But when he admitted he didn't want to spend the rest of his life jumping onto someone else's ship, it was the first honest thing he'd said all season. The choice to walk away from Chevron, to reject comfort, to refuse Cammy's world entirely wasn't reckless, it was deliberate. And the trailer makes it clear that Season 3 will test whether that decision was brave or fatal. CTTT oil exploration wasn't born out of optimism. It was born out of pressure. Cooper becoming president wasn't symbolic, it was a declaration. Tommy didn't just protect his son, he handed him the future, knowing full well that Galino's money came with invisible chains. The Season 3 footage hints that those chains are tightening. Galino isn't watching from a distance anymore. He's closer, more involved, and far less patient. Every favor that once felt manageable now looks like leverage waiting to be used. What makes this next chapter even darker is that Tommy finally has something to lose. Not just his career, but his people. This isn't MTEX, where failure meant replacement. This is family, loyalty, shared risk. The crew's freedom at the end of Season 2 felt earned, but freedom in Landman has never come without consequences. The trailer's tone reflects that unease. The silences are longer, the looks are heavier, the victories feel temporary. Season 3 isn't asking whether Tommy can win. It's asking how much of himself he's willing to sacrifice to stay standing. Because when a man stops running, the danger doesn't disappear. It simply catches up. And if Galino decides the deal was a mistake, what exactly does failure look like this time? The Season 3 trailer makes one thing painfully clear. The past isn't done with Tommy Norris, and it never was. What looked like a clean break at the end of Season 2 now feels more like the calm before consequences arrive all at once. Tommy believed that walking away from MTX meant closing a chapter, but the truth is, TX shaped every enemy he now faces. Cammy didn't lose, she adapted. Her silence in the finale wasn't defeat, it was calculation. And the trailer subtly reinforces that she's no longer reacting to Tommy's moves. She's planning several steps ahead. Cammy's gamble to isolate herself may actually put her in the strongest position she's ever been in. Without Monty, without Nate, and without Tommy clouding her decisions, she's free to play the game her way. The trailer's brief moments suggest she's rebuilding power quietly, aligning with interests that don't care about loyalty or history. And that's dangerous because Cammy knows Tommy better than anyone. She knows his instincts, his tells, and his weaknesses. If she chooses to strike, it won't be emotional, it'll be surgical. At the same time, Cooper's elevation to president isn't just a proud moment, it's a target painted on his back. Season 2 showed us that his so-called gift for oil isn't protection, it's exposure. The legal nightmare surrounding Ariana's assault may be over on paper, but reputations don't reset that easily. The trailer hints that outside forces are circling Cooper's fields again, not with guns, but with paperwork, pressure, and patience. This time, the threat won't announce itself. It'll arrive disguised as opportunity. Tommy's biggest flaw has always been control. He trusts himself to absorb the damage so others don't have to. But Season 3 looks ready to challenge that instinct. Rebecca, Nate, TL, and Ariana are no longer support systems, they're stakeholders. Every risky decision now affects people who chose to stand beside him. And the trailer suggests that those relationships will be tested in ways MTEX never could. When money, loyalty, and fear collide, even the strongest crews fracture. Then there's Galino. He didn't write that $18 million check out of generosity. He invested because he expects returns, obedience, and results. The warning he gave Tommy wasn't dramatic, it was procedural. Failure has consequences. And fat. Asaiva in my EF Season 2 was about survival, then Season 3 is shaping up to be about exposure. The trailer doesn't shout it, but it makes one thing obvious. Everything Tommy built in the shadows is now standing in full daylight. CTT. Oil exploration isn't a secret anymore. It's a signal. A signal that Tommy is no longer hiding behind corporate layers, legal buffers, or borrowed authority. He put his name, his son's name, and his father's name on the door, and in the Landman world, that kind of honesty is dangerous. Tommy's decision to place Cooper at the top wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. Cooper represents the future, the talent, and the land itself. But the trailer subtly hints that Cooper isn't ready for the weight he's carrying. Leadership doesn't come with instinct, and instinct doesn't protect you from manipulation. Cooper's moral compass is strong, but Season 3 seems intent on testing whether morality can survive in an industry built on pressure and compromise. When deals start closing behind closed doors, will Cooper bend, or will someone else bend him first? Ariana's role also shifts in a way that feels deceptively quiet. She's no longer just healing from trauma. She's part of the machine now. Office manager sounds small, but information flows through her hands. The trailer frames her less as a victim and more as a witness, someone who sees patterns others miss. And in a world where knowledge is currency, that puts her in a uniquely vulnerable position. The question is whether her proximity to power will protect her or expose her all over again. Rebecca's presence looms larger too. Season 2 showed us how effective she is when cornered, and Season 3 hints that she won't wait to be cornered this time. Legal pressure doesn't just respond to threats, it creates them. The trailer suggests that lawsuits, investigations, and regulatory scrutiny will become weapons, not obstacles. Rebecca knows how to apply pressure without ever raising her voice, and that kind of quiet force may be what keeps CTT alive, or what tears it apart from the inside. Then there's Nate. Walking away from MTE was the cleanest decision he's ever made, but freedom comes with responsibility. Handling finances for a company tied to Galino isn't accounting, it's damage control. The trailer's tone implies that money will become the first fracture point. When numbers stop adding up, when profit shares start shrinking, loyalty gets tested faster than any gun ever could. And Nate will be the one holding the ledger when everyone starts asking questions. What makes all of this more unsettling is that Tommy sees it coming. The trailer shows a man who isn't surprised anymore. He's tired, alert, and painfully aware that peace never lasts. His happiness at the end of Season 2 wasn't naive, it was borrowed time. Season 3 isn't about whether chaos will return, it's about who chaos comes for first. Because when every member of the crew becomes essential, the weakest link isn't obvious anymore. And what happens when the pressure finally finds it? The Season 3 trailer quietly reinforces a brutal truth. In Landman, progress is just another way of attracting predators. The moment CTT oil exploration began operating, it stopped being a dream and became a threat to competitors, to regulators, and to people who profit from instability. Tommy didn't just start a company, he disrupted a balance that had existed long before he ever thought he was in control, and Season 3 looks ready to show us the cost of doing that without protection. One of the most unsettling shifts hinted at in the trailer is how violence evolves. Season 2 gave us physical danger, emotional trauma, and near-death moments. Season 3 suggests something colder. Pressure comes in the form of audits, land disputes, delayed permits, and coincidental accidents. These aren't random obstacles, they're messages. Someone wants Tommy to remember that independence is expensive and that Galino isn't the only one watching from the shadows. Cammy's absence from direct conflict may be the most dangerous thing about her. The trailer doesn't show her angry or desperate. It shows her patient. That patience implies resources, allies, and time. She doesn't need to confront Tommy directly. All she has to do is outlast him. And if she knows Galino's involved, she also knows exactly where to apply pressure without getting her hands dirty. Revenge in Landman isn't loud, it's efficient. Meanwhile, the offshore rig with Newsom still hangs over everything like unfinished business. Season 2 left it unresolved for a reason. The trailer briefly reminds us that unresolved problems don't disappear. They wait. Offshore money, offshore politics, and offshore silence all operate differently. Whatever secrets are tied to that rig haven't surfaced yet, but when they do, they won't stay contained. Tommy may think he's starting fresh on land, but the sea has a way of pulling people back. By the time the Season 3 trailer fades out, one feeling lingers longer than anything else. Inevitability. Not hope, not fear, but the sense that every decision Tommy made in Season 2 is finally coming due. This season doesn't feel like a fresh start anymore. It feels like a reckoning. CT oil exploration may be new on paper, but it's already carrying the weight of old debts, old enemies, and unfinished business that refuses to stay buried. Tommy's biggest mistake may not be trusting Galino or walking away from MTEX. It may be believing that clarity equals safety. Season 3 makes it clear that seeing the danger doesn't stop it. If anything, it sharpens it. Tommy knows the risks now. He understands the cost of ownership, the price of independence, and the fragility of loyalty. But knowledge doesn't shield him from consequence. It only forces him to watch it coming. The trailer subtly reframes Tommy's role entirely. He's no longer reacting to chaos, he's managing it. And that's where Landman becomes most dangerous. When chaos becomes routine, lines blur. Decisions that once felt unthinkable start feeling necessary. How much compromise is too much before the man who refused to build someone else's empire starts becoming exactly what he ran from? Cooper's future hangs in the balance as well. Leadership will demand choices that instinct alone can't guide. If pressure forces Cooper to choose between protecting people and protecting profit, there won't be a clean answer. And if he stumbles, it won't just be his failure, it'll be Tommy's legacy cracking in real time. The trailer hints that this father and son dynamic is about to face its hardest test yet, not through conflict, but through consequence. Galino's shadow grows heavier with every frame. His patience is gone, his expectations are set, and if CTT falters even slightly, the consequences won't stop at contracts or money. The warning he gave wasn't about business, it was about control. Season 3 seems ready to explore what happens when control is enforced, not negotiated. Landman has always been about men who believe they can outthink the system, outwork it, or outlast it. Season 3 asks a far more uncomfortable question. What happens when the system finally decides it's done being challenged? Because if the end of Season 2 was the moment Tommy allowed himself to be happy, then Season 3 may be the moment he learns exactly what happiness costs and whether he can afford to pay it. What makes this season particularly tense is how alone Tommy really is. He built a team, yes, but leadership doesn't eliminate isolation. The trailer repeatedly frames Tommy on the edge of conversations, listening more than speaking. He's not the man barking orders anymore. He's the man calculating consequences, and calculation requires sacrifice. Someone will be asked to take a hit, to compromise, to step into danger so the company can survive. The illusion of control is slowly being stripped away. Season 3 doesn't promise chaos all at once. It promises erosion. Small losses that stack up. Trust that thins out. Victories that feel hollow. And the most unsettling part is that Tommy seems prepared for all of it. He knows this path doesn't end cleanly. He chose it anyway. But when preparation turns into resignation, when survival replaces hope, how long can a man keep going before he stops asking whether it's worth it at all? What the Season 3 trailer ultimately suggests is that Landman is no longer just telling a story about oil, power, or ambition. It's telling a story about consequence. Every character now lives inside the aftermath of choices that once felt necessary. There are no clean slates left. Only adjustments, compromises, and the quiet understanding that something is always being traded away. Tommy's strength has always been his awareness. He sees the system for what it is, and Season 3 doubles down on that clarity. But awareness doesn't bring peace, it brings burden. The trailer shows a man who knows exactly how fragile his world is and who keeps moving anyway. That isn't courage in the traditional sense, it's endurance, and endurance has limits. The people around Tommy are no longer passengers, they're participants. Each one carries risk now, and risk changes behavior. Trust becomes conditional. Loyalty becomes strategic. The family he built at CTT feels real, but reality is precisely what puts it in danger. When pressure rises, unity is tested not by outside enemies, but by internal doubt. Season 3 doesn't promise resolution, it promises tension that tightens slowly, deliberately. No single explosion, no single villain, just a series of moments where the wrong decision feels slightly more reasonable than the right one, and that's where Landman is most honest. Because the real question moving forward isn't who will betray Tommy or who will fall first, it's whether Tommy can keep choosing ownership without losing the very people he started all of this for, or whether by this point the Season 3 trailer stops feeling like a preview and starts feeling like a warning. Nothing is framed as sudden or shocking anymore. Everything is slow, deliberate, and unavoidable. That alone tells us what kind of season this will be. Landman isn't building toward a single breaking point. It's building toward exhaustion, toward the moment when even the strongest characters begin to question whether pushing forward is bravery or stubbornness. Tommy's world is tighter now. Fewer exits, fewer options. Every move he makes sends ripples through CTT. Through Galino's expectations, through Cammy's calculations, and through Cooper's future, leadership has trapped him in visibility. He can't disappear, he can't shift blame. Ownership means every consequence has his fingerprints on it, whether he caused it or not. What's most unsettling is how normalized the pressure has become. The trailer doesn't show panic, it shows routine. Meetings, silences, decisions made without celebration. That's how systems break people. Not through chaos, but through repetition. When danger becomes background noise, mistakes slip in unnoticed, and those mistakes don't stay small for long. Season 3 feels ready to strip away one final illusion, that there's a version of this story where everyone walks away intact. Someone will lose ground, someone will take the fall, someone will be forced to choose between survival and loyalty, and Tommy, for all his experience, may not be able to control which line gets crossed first, because when a man builds something with his own name on it, failure isn't just professional anymore, it's personal. And if Landman has taught us anything, it's that the most dangerous moment isn't when the fight begins, it's when you realize there's no clean way out left at all. The deeper Season 3 seems to go, the clearer it becomes that Landman is no longer asking us to pick sides. It's asking us to sit with discomfort. The trailer doesn't frame Tommy as a hero or a villain. It frames him as a man boxed in by his own resolve. Every choice he makes now feels justified in the moment and questionable in hindsight. That tension is the engine of this season. CTT was built on trust, but trust erodes faster than oil dries up when pressure is applied from every direction. The trailer hints at moments where conversations stop mid-sentence, where looks linger too long, where answers feel carefully measured. These aren't betrayals yet, but they're the warning signs, the kind that only become obvious after damage is done. Cooper's presence at the top continues to complicate everything. Youth brings vision, but it also brings exposure. Season 3 seems determined to show that leadership isn't about being right. It's about being ready to be blamed. And if Cooper stumbles, the industry won't forgive him just because he's young or well-intentioned. They'll use him as leverage, and Tommy knows it. What makes this chapter especially heavy is that no one feels safe anymore, not even the people who think they are. The systems closing in on CTT don't need villains. They just need time. Time to audit, time to investigate, time to apply pressure until someone cracks. The trailer suggests that cracking isn't a matter of if, but when. Landman has always thrived in the gray space between success and survival, and Season 3 pushes that space even narrower. Every gain comes with a shadow. Every solution creates a new problem. And as the walls keep closing in, the real question becomes impossible to ignore. When everything starts to collapse, will Tommy choose to protect the company he built or the people he built it for? By now, the Season 3 trailer feels less like a promise of entertainment and more like a quiet dare. It challenges the idea that strength is always visible, that leadership always looks decisive, that doing the right thing leads to the right outcome. Landman has never rewarded certainty, and Season 3 seems determined to punish it. Tommy's journey has always been about resisting ownership while secretly craving it. Now that he has it, the weight is unmistakable. Every delay, every negotiation, every silence lands on his shoulders first. The trailer frames him not as a man in control, but as a man absorbing impact. And absorption has limits. Even the toughest structures crack under sustained pressure. What's most striking is how the threat no longer has a single face. It's not just Galino, it's not just Cammy, it's the system itself. Investors, regulators, competitors, and history all press in at once. The danger isn't explosive, it's suffocating. And suffocation doesn't give you a moment to fight back, it just slowly takes away options. The crew's unity is tested in subtler ways now. Not through arguments, but through hesitation, through moments where loyalty has to compete with self-preservation. By this point, the Season 3 trailer stops feeling like a preview and starts feeling like a warning. Nothing is framed as sudden or shocking anymore. Everything is slow, deliberate, and unavoidable. That alone tells us what kind of season this will be. Landman isn't building toward a single breaking point. It's building toward exhaustion, toward the moment when even the strongest characters begin to question whether pushing forward is bravery or stubbornness. Tommy's world is tighter now. Fewer exits, fewer options. Every move he makes sends ripples through CTT. Through Galino's expectations, through Cammy's calculations, and through Cooper's future, leadership has trapped him in visibility. He can't disappear.